you? How have you been? You felt like you've been in this journey, you've been running this race. Things have already been revealed to you. You fasted, you prayed, you rejoiced. You knew it was time to let go, let God. But some kind of way along the way, things got off track and you allowed that very one, those very ones to re enter into your life. And what did they do? Not only did you crack the door open, but they widened the door to feel like they got the upper hand because they saw you progressing. They saw that your life was improving from a distance. They knew it. They knew that you wasn't in contact with them like you once was. They knew that if they said something to put you in a position to feel like you was the one that was beneath and not the head of your own life to make your own logical decisions. Like you could not make a decision without their approval, their involvement, their sly comments. You gave them a chance to overlook all of that because you allowed them to come back in. And they came back to do the same repeat. But the thing is, God had already revealed to you who you're dealing with. This is why it is so important to stay in the will of God. This is why it's so important when things do get off track that you renew the mind. This is why it is so important to still have those conversations. Like you feeling like you flying high, you feeling like everything is going appropriately, things is going accordingly on the job, things is going accordingly on the family. But some kind of way, that very one or ones managed to creep back into your life. Don't you know when that door is open, cracked open, that people will sometimes come back into your life with a vengeance because they're mad, they're upset, they jealous, they envious, they feeling like it's done got real personal. But it is never too late, especially when you already done recognize. So what if you did let them back in and you found out it was another lesson learned? Sometimes we have to get the lesson in order to learn. We got to learn in order to get the lesson. We still got to move forward. We still got to realize we can't just completely fall apart, let our guard down and think, okay, I gave it to God, but there's still work you got to do. There's tools out here that we are working with. And I think sometimes if we really, really take the time out to internalize and realize what is being spoken to us, think about it. Some people will enter into the room to deflate the room. Some people will enter into the room to depress the room. Some people will enter into the room to elevate the room, to bring a light, to make it shine, to make you, feel what the energy is supposed to be. We're not supposed to be going around brokenhearted. We're not supposed to be depressed. We're not supposed to be always angry and uproar about things that don't even really concern us. But just because somebody else is having a bad day, then they want to throw that energy off on you. I don't care if it's family. I don't care if it's a so-called best friend. I don't care if it's your other half, partner, homegirl that you've been knowing ever since the beginning of time, homeboy that you've been knowing since the beginning of time. People change. People are not always the same. And that's why you can change too. That's why you can change your mind. That's why you're like, look, I tried this again, but now I got it. This ain't going nowhere because soon as you allow them back into their life, they continue to do a wash, repeat, and trying to take you along with them. And then they want you to take that energy that you got, that they done transpired off on you, and you take it somewhere. That's why people are out here operating in unclean spirits. That's why people are out here being unhealthy. This is why, we sometimes talk about even generational curses that's passed down. Because if we can't get over our own hurt or even deal with our own trauma, and a lot of times it's from people. Words, people say, oh, words don't affect me. They do sometimes because before you know it, if you keep letting these same people be around, those words will affect you. That's why even when these people come into these comments and say things that don't make no sense, this is why I'm saying people's minds are not healthy. They're just not. You know, you got to be careful who you listen to on YouTube. You got to be careful of the comments that come through. And that's why I don't deal with this. I don't deal with this extra stuff. So I'm just saying, stay on track. Not everybody is going to be your friend. And some people, yeah, you can forgive them, but you can forgive people from a distance and keep it moving and keep your mind healthy. You got to be able to function. You got to be able to hold it together. People, I'm telling you, they really want to bring you down to their level. You got to keep yourself covered. In order to keep yourself covered, you got to keep your family covered. You got to keep your household covered. You got to keep your job covered. You got to keep yourself covered. Ultimately, it starts with you. Do what you got to do for self. And all thine getting, love yourself.